Before the story begins, take a slow, deep breath. Let the air fill your lungs, and gently release it. The world around you grows quiet now. The lights dim, the sounds fade into soft distance. Tonight, we travel into the heart of an ancient forest. A place where time drifts like mist, where old trees remember the footsteps of the past, and the air hums with stories no longer told. This is the sleep of the forest spirits, a tale from long ago, when people still believed that every tree, every stone, every stream, held a living soul, and that at night, when the moon rose, those spirits rested, dreaming alongside the world they guarded. So settle in, close your eyes, and let the stillness of the forest settle around you. Evergreen Tree Scene 1. The Forest at Dusk. Long ago, in the northern lands of ancient Japan, there was a forest so wide and deep that the people called it the Endless Green. Its canopy stretched for miles, a living roof of cedar and pine, maple and bamboo. At dusk, the forest would change. The light softened from gold to silver, and the air became cool and damp, carrying the smell of moss and rain-soaked bark. The villagers who lived near its edge would sometimes pause their evening chores, listening to the soft sounds that came from the trees, a murmur of leaves, the cry of a hidden bird, the creak of old wood shifting in the wind. They believed these were the forest spirits, the kodama, breathing, sighing, and sometimes even whispering. When the sun vanished completely, the people would light small clay lamps and set them upon the edge of the forest path. They did not step further in after dark. That was the hour of the spirits, the time when the forest belonged to itself again. At the foot of the hill stood a small village called Aoyama, meaning the Green Mountain. The people there lived simply. They grew rice, carved wood from fallen trees, and fished from the clear streams that wound through the forest edge. Each spring, before the planting season began, they held a quiet ceremony for the forest. The oldest villager, an elderly woman named Haney, would prepare a cup of green tea and place it upon a smooth stone at the forest border. Beside the tea, she'd lay a small wreath, woven from pine needles and wildflowers. Then she would whisper, almost as if speaking to a dear friend, "Sleep well, old spirits. We will take only what we need." This ritual was not born of fear, but of respect, a recognition that the trees and the people lived side by side, as neighbors and kin. The villagers said that those who forgot the ritual would hear restless sounds at night, branches tapping against their windows, or footsteps in the grass that left no mark. But when the tea offering was made, the nights were peaceful. Even the wind seemed softer then. It was said that the kodama, the forest spirits, slept differently from humans. Their slumber came when the world was most still, when even the owls had ceased to call. In that deep hour of the night, the forest would fall completely silent. No leaf stirred, no bird sang. The air hung heavy, as though holding its breath. The people believed that during this time, the spirits wandered through dreams, not dreams of people, but of trees. In those dreams, they remembered every seed that had ever fallen to the forest floor. They whispered encouragement to tiny sprouts breaking through the soil, and shared the memory of centuries of sunlight and rain. When morning returned, and the first bird began to sing, the kodama would settle back into the trunks and roots, their dreams flowing quietly through the sap and soil beneath. There once lived a young woodcutter named Ren. He was quiet and gentle, and unlike most men, he never struck a living tree. Instead, he gathered only the fallen branches and driftwood carried downstream. One evening, he found himself lost in the forest as darkness fell. The paths had vanished. The moss-covered stones glowed faintly in the moonlight, and the air seemed alive with presence. Ren stopped, his breath steady and calm. He set down his axe and bowed to the trees. Then, softly, he spoke into the quiet. "I've lost my way. If the forest spirits are near, I mean no harm." After a while, a gentle wind passed through the bamboo. The leaves trembled, not in warning, but as though in reply. Moments later, He saw a faint glow ahead, a line of small lights, like lanterns floating low to the ground. They led him back toward the village, their brightness never harsh, only guiding, only kind. From that day on, Rin said the forest had a voice. It didn't speak in words, but in rustles and silences, in the rhythm of the leaves, in the heartbeat of the earth. As years passed, the people of Oyama came to think of the forest, not as a place of mystery, but of comfort. Every spring, children would run barefoot along the edge of the woods, laughing as cherry petals floated down like snow. Mothers hung wind chimes in the trees, their clear notes blending with the murmur of streams. Elders rested on smooth stones, their eyes half closed, listening to the endless hush of branches and wind. They said that when the chimes rang softly, without a breeze, was the Kodama stirring, not awake, but smiling in their dreams. And so, the forest remained a place of peace. No one cut down the ancient trees, and the spirits, content and dreaming, let their calm settle over the land. Now, as the night grows deep, the forest sleeps again. The Kodama rest within their trees, and the air hums with quiet dreams. If you listen closely, you can almost hear it, the slow sigh of the earth, the gentle rhythm of leaves turning in sleep. Let it lull you, like the calm of a summer breeze through bamboo. Let your breath become soft and even, like the rustle of pine needles in the dark. The spirits of the forest are sleeping now, and so may you. And dream of still waters and whispering leaves. Dream of peace beneath ancient trees. For tonight, you are part of the forest too.